right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 1 of Vicinal versus Hysteric. Going to be an artist match on the Rancid Abattoir. And I'm your host, Little Regard, solo casting today as we're just out here vibing, having a good time. And right now, loading up immediately, seeing the corrupt zone. Opposite side of spawn makes sense. A little bit of a split as the other one is quite opposite, so a bit of an odd split corrupt, but you know what? It happens sometimes, and it does make the game a little bit more interesting, so we'll have to see how the players adapt to it. In the meantime, though, we see already finding our first chase onto G-Bot, holding at this I-Tower filler, and actually just holding straight W into the back here, but they're going to take a tag before they can get into the shack, rotating around the long side wall, and then do they get to this pallet? What are they going to do? They actually do get the pallet. Could be dropping it early. Artist going straight for the break, and can they make any distance out of this? Is the shotgun coming in? Dodging the shotgun is going to give this Nia a little bit of extra distance as see the center gen getting pumped away. Nia actually getting almost completely, if they did block line of sight completely with the lucky break, they might have actually been able to get away, but in the meantime, they will get balance landing off the tractor though, getting more distance. Nia doing... They took an early hit, and somehow, despite that, have not given this artist any more chances since then. First gen going down for Vicinal Survivor Squad, holding into the main area of Shack, but missing the crows. This is quite a great early chase coming in from our survivor here, doing a phenomenal job going back and forth, using the entirety of their lucky break. They will take crows over the top. Do they go up to the top? No, they're just going to drop down, and this will end up being cornered down, but they've got a full gen, half of a gen as well, and Ace even coming in to say, hey, you know, if you look this way, I might have a little bit of a flashlight for you, but not gonna end up mattering, as that is gonna be first look incoming, and most likely a pain residence. Really great first chase. That's exactly what the survivors needed to get a little bit of pressure going on those generators, but that is going to be a pain res, heading the most progressed gen down a little bit, but they got actually 2 different generators with a decent amount of progress so far. Stars are not giving up, but that is also ruined, so we're gonna see a little bit of I would imagine anyway, then we're going to see a little bit of harassment from this artist, keeping the server on that hook, going to get him to second stage, and then just use that ruin, harass him a little bit. Maybe if they're super lucky, get a tag, but okay, to be fair, this weekend we have seen quite a few artist snipes from across the map, and a little bit unsuspecting, because usually you just are on the shotgun. They actually snuck Ace around where that unhook is. Artist was a little bit too far away from the camp and actually allowed a free unhook. However, only getting about 30 seconds on the hook anyway, but now Ace doing a great job taking the crow so that they don't get a shot onto Nia. Ace playing bodyguard here and eating another crow as well, desperately saying, no, Nia, run for your life. However, this is a dead zone, but they do have balance landing still in their pocket. The artist will be aware of that, and so they're going to have to deal with it appropriately, but they will run away. Crow does reset though, so actually using it to stay in this tile, despite the fact they don't get power, but they actually use it. Yeah, great timing from these survivors, using a lot of gen pressure. That is 3 gens down. And Artist only has 1 stage so far. Yeah, being very patient at this pallet, but they will probably go down over the top. They actually could have eaten the crow there if they so chose, but oh, it actually goes on cooldown. The Artist mistimes it. They will get another crow set up, and Nia is effectively zoned here. Actually, somehow not taking a hit from that. Is going to be holding W around the tile once again. Vaulting over the top of that will be a down inevitably. Now the question is, what is the gen pressure like from the survivors? Looks like they're actually doubling up on a 4th generator. Survivors are not messing around. However, double crow coming out. There's already, oh man, that's so brutal for the artist. Having lockers right next to them is so savage. There will be second hook secured for the artist. 2 different gens being worked on in the meantime. Ace going corner to try and stay away. Maybe also rotate around potentially for an unhook. I'd say I don't think the artist has gotten much value out of their package so far. Ruin done a little bit, but not a lot, because again they Ace rotated around and just got a really great pull on the survivor. Honestly, it was I would say for artist play, that's actually really aggressive for the survivors to sneak around and get that early pull. I mean, artist did allow for it, but usually survivors will be, you know, content to sit 3 different gens and take the trade. But Ace definitely punished there. And now we see Ada holding up inside. So they are harassing, they are spreading out, they're not slamming gens, they are playing this a little bit more aggressively from the survivor side. And I do appreciate when survivors play more aggressively and show that, hey, we aren't afraid of this killer, and actually put some numbers up. It's like we might have actually spotted Ada coming in. They will come in, winging it, trying to hold on to the second stage to secure death stage, but Ada will run in for the hook trade. And I imagine we will see a tunnel out here, but I imagine also we're going to be seeing 2 different gens being worked on. They were going to take the pain res, but that's going to be 4th gen down. 5th gen will be hit with the pain res, but it looks like survivors actually have already rotated away. Ain't no way. Getting the head-on stun as well as the killer blind. And denying that chase onto Nia even further. These survivors have played this game so incredibly protective of Nia, and they actually did get her to safety. I imagine we're gonna be seeing her. Yeah, we're gonna see a reset here onto Nia in the meantime. And this Nia will probably not see the light of day again. She will probably be tucked into a corner onto a gen, waiting for an exit gate. And actually, a little bit of a mishap here. The stray crow does get a tag. They know where both these survivors are, and they're like, hey, I saw you resetting. And they're actually gonna get a fresh hook out of this. I do like that they're not going for the Nia now. The tunnel out is not very viable, but this getting a fresh hook here would be, as they're getting stuck actually on the combine. They will get it down inevitably though, off the top as this. It's not the balance landing survivor, that was Nia. And that is going to be another fresh hook. Artist getting a round of freshes here despite the really rocky start. And I think we're gonna see them lean into that as they're gonna get their full suite of pain res. They're gonna make sure that they get as much value out of it as possible. And maybe if they can secure a 4th fresh hook at this end game, they've got 4 stages so far. If they can find the Renato, get a stage on them, camp them to death, they could potentially walk out here with a 7-stage 1K, but it's 4 fresh, which is a much better start than, or a much better result than what the start would have alluded to. Ada running around though. That's going to be a tag onto Ada though. Flying a little bit too close to someone. You see second wind onto Ace, checking for the Renato, saying, I think you're here, buddy. And it looks like we're not going to see that as second stage coming in for Ada. Gen progress from the survivors doubling up as the second wind takes effect. And they were right. Renato was hanging out here for this unhook. But it looks like survivors waiting for those the crows to go by, maybe right out the killer instinct. They're going to jump right back on this gen. Survivors, having identified Ruin, are not too worried about Ruin. This artist, by the way, is just dancing around the Renato, as we know that Renato was sitting right by that hay bale and just walked right past them. Oh, and they actually do find him inevitably, but that means that Renato will be able to get over here, get the unhook. The question is it going to be a trade? Is there going to be a fresh hook coming in? Because that will be another pain res. Yeah, this will be 4th and final pain res. Not able to get the blind, though. Unfortunate positioning from the Ada, and they're actually going to go for a closer, but they're not going to get the pain res in time. However, like I said, this is going to be the 4th fresh hook. This will be 5th stage, no, 6th stage coming in. And so now, if they want to camp this to death, they can try and get a total of 8 stages, or just keep them off this exit gate for as long as possible. Maybe secure a 2nd stage or go after a new survivor. A lot of potential here, but the survivors are looking at stages out. Actually gonna commit onto this Nia. I don't hate this play, because if you let this exit gate open, they really do have a chance of getting that survivor off, and this will just secure an extra stage if you can get this down. You do have to get this down, though, is the key word there. Donating Nia entirely. Gonna try and line up the crows, but I think the crows are not lined up, and yeah, now it's just a question of cutting off this survivor from the exit gate. But I think we're gonna see a reset. Yeah, reset coming in onto Ada, because Nia didn't get hit. Renato does get a full reset from Ace, as I believe Ace has actually, they don't have any healing part. They just got that heal off. However, here comes the artist coming in. There is no Noed. And Renato, not wanting to take a tag from this crow, is going to get zoned away a little bit, but I imagine with the body blocks and everything else. Yeah, I think this will result in a 4-man out, and it's going to be a total of 6 stages for fresh unless something crazy happens. Body blocking like there's no tomorrow. But at the end of the day, there's not going to be too much the killer can do. Honestly, this is getting kind of almost bizarre. And that will be the 4-man out for Vicinal Survivor Team. Really, really well done. Again, phenomenal early game from the Survivor Squad, really putting the artist to the test. That early chase, which looked like a double tap. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 2, Return to the Rancid Abattoir with the artist. And we actually have a little bit of a friend of the cast over here today. Well, how you doing, Hans?
Hello, I'm doing good. Excited to see the second match of the artist on Rancid. Instantly sending 4 crows instantly out of spawn, but not finding anyone.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, they brought separate hands, but they also brought the, was it Inked Egg?
Yeah.
Interesting. So they want to play a more macro style game, potentially. Actually getting a nasty
Yes.
tag onto Feng. That was been the tail end of that range.
Yeah, that was min-maxed. And this is such a bad dying spot too, inside the generators.
And multiple survivors to boot, so you can take one tag, go after the other. And I don't know. Okay, do you commit to this? Actually getting the tag once again. Look at the precision from these crows.
Yeah.
Good zoning.
Clean play. I think this was a little bit of trouble. Is it live? Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Okay. I don't like the decision of the artists. Like, they could have had probably a down within the gens, and now we are in the corrupted zone. So a little bit better for the survivors.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about the macro sense there, and they actually don't get the tag onto the survivor, just reapplying the dire crows instead. That's a very valid point. Nancy ran them all the way up the side of the map to main building. To be fair, I think they might have expected to go down around here before the live activated. But first gen in the main building, go off and Rancor. Okay. You know, I don't hate this. If you're worried about what you can get in this result and you want to secure at least one thing, I don't hate this from the killer. So first I could be coming in and okay, this skin is legitimately creepy.
Yeah, it is. All right, so it looks like there are 3 gens here, not much progress. So this is probably the area that the artist wants to hold now. 4 gens actually. Whoa, what a 3 gen. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is kind of similar to what we saw before, where this side of the map had a lot of generators. Also, we saw Scratchbox over there, but ours didn't seem too worried about it. And they will be defending this a little bit closer, considering last time we saw the survivor go immediately for the pull and actually, make something out of it. We'll see if it comes down. One thing worth noting too is that there is no ruin, which makes the harassment from this artist a little bit less potent, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is true.
Ooh, slingshot time. I think the Nancy's gonna call it, say, hey, maybe avoid this. But they're not gonna fire it off after all. And we do see a crow over there, so there is a survivor harassing this generator. And looks like they are gonna actually get in here for the pull, and it's not gonna be a trade, it's going to be a full unhook. Nancy able to get away as the animation was interrupted, and now Ace will end up going down under the pallet. It's gonna go not straight for the pick, worried that survivor might be rotating in, but I think they're just happy to do the gen.
Yeah, that is going to make it so hard to get a turn out this game.
I'm about to say, I was worried the chase music wasn't going away, and I saw the claws around Feng, so Feng actually coming in for the potential slap, but not going to be able to get there in time, and that's going to be second hook, second pain res for this killer. Claudette, though, still banging away at this gen, and we'll be finishing it momentarily. However, that's only 2 gens for 2 stages so far. I think the survivors need probably a little bit more gen pressure in their favor. Not doing too badly, but I'm about to say coming in for a reset. And yeah, I'm about to say we're just gonna see the same thing from artists and just, kind of chill out, harass some survivors, get some slingshots going, and okay,
I mean, okay, so there's barely any progress on the 4 gens, and now the artist knows where everyone is, and they're so far away, and now you can kind of like go out a little bit and try to play aggressive, knowing that there's nobody in the area.
True, nobody rotating her back around. That's a very, very good point. I didn't think about that part. Yeah, I always think Rancor is a good way to, secure up something in endgame potentially, but now that we're looking at it, yeah, you get so much powerful snapshot information from a macro perspective, and
yeah.
Now Fangman gonna be harassing. Looks like they are gonna try and go in last second for this unhook, and I think they definitely get it here potentially if they play this right. There's the hit, but not able to body block the Fungman, and that is going to be Fungman getting the unhook. Immediately gonna let Ace. Oh my god, Ace had sprint burst. He's gonna be able to get towards this meat tree potentially. Gonna be lining up a crow through the L, but actually they're going to go to meat tree. Already setting up crows, trying to line up their avenues of sight. Definitely making sure they can't cut off, and they crouched right at the edge of that meat tree. That is so well done.
That is a lot of valuable time bought.
Really is, because with the inked egg, the other thing is, doesn't it increase the cooldown by like another 3 seconds or something?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. Again, great for macro play, but for chases, not so much. Ace in a bit of trouble there, and they will inevitably go down. They couldn't get away with it the second time around, but that's going to be a second stage coming in. But survivors banging away, got the 3rd generator done, and we see that Claudette is... there's no way that she did not hear Fang.
Yeah, very loud character. I don't know if that's the character to be in a locker with.
Yeah, I think they're even coming back to it. They heard him. But Fung will be able to get out of dodge. Yeah, Claudette actually They were on Shack Gen halfway, so this gen is actually going to regress quite a bit, which means, yeah, that 3 gen is still holding strong.
Yeah, the ace did not get out of the area at all.
Mm-hmm. Actually, how can you? You have no filler tile.
Yeah, this is the hard thing about Rancid. Once you're in this corner, you can't really make it anywhere. The main building is pretty far away and also doesn't have that much safety.
Okay, so here's the question. You have to send 2 people in for a body block, right? Or not body block, to get the unhook. Do you send a 3rd survivor in for a body block? Or is, because it's artists and they can throw a crow and cause chaos, that you can't afford to use a body block?
That is so hard because, like, if that survivor dies relatively quickly, then everyone got injured in the process. True. So you kind of need to, yeah, you probably need to reset afterwards. So
oh, look at this.
I don't know if that's feasible. Oh,
actually gonna go for a full hook trade here.
So Ace needs to have a good chase, or at least get out of this area.
True. Worth noting, they also gave the survivor that wasn't worth a pain res, so they couldn't get any regression from this hook. But yeah, like you said, gonna be kind of hard to get out of this area. Not gonna drop the pallet preemptively. And they actually do send a body block in, and it's a good one as well. They actually get out. That is huge. But now you have to be careful. You don't want to give up the body blocker also getting hit. However, Nancy did not get picked up. No, now they're all, oh my goodness, this is crazy. What am I watching?
Oh my god, the survivors are playing so well.
This is so aggressive and greedy, but I also have mad respect for it. But they dove down in the shack. This is basement. If they choose, they could go for pain res. Yeah, I think, yeah, they want the pain res.
Oh.
That's
everyone is injured, so the survivors will need to fast reset before they attack this gen setup again.
They will, which, like you said, it's gonna be a bit of a moment to get them all healed up and reset, and definitely the downside. Hold on, there's no way they were sending a survivor in injured for this, right? Yeah, there was an injured survivor rotating around. That's kind of ballsy.
Yeah, would have probably been better to reset right now because you will need to do it eventually anyway.
Right.
And it's always better to attack this together while full health.
Oh, that's so smart. Look at that. They're doing it in the combine so they don't get killer instinct.
Ah.
Okay, heads up play. But like you said, now they're going to come in and have to do the reset. And you're going to lose second stage. There's no way you get this Claudette out before second stage. And if they could have made it out of that area like you talked about, it would have been fine. But now they're in a... No!
No, this is so terrible.
Oh my goodness, Artist with the 5-head play coming all the way over here and saying, you know what? I'm going to find your reset point. They did. Broke everything up. Now, not only is Claude at second stage, none of you are healed.
Yeah. So what I said earlier is, like, obviously they want to reset and attack it together. But the artist also knows that. And yeah, very well played. Sniffing out the reset. It's a small map.
Almost getting a slingshot onto the survivors as the unhook comes in. Severed Hands doing a little bit of work. Head on from Fang, though, the only healed survivor. But like you said, again, they're still not able to get out of this dead zone. They will be able to dispel the crows, but I guess, okay, here's the blessing in disguise. This survivor's death hook, right? So after this hook, you have nothing to camp.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
it's a silver
bit
line.
of a positive. Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if I take the hit here.
I mean, it's like they're trying anything at this point. You're kind of like in a losing spot, right? So this is not going to result in anything, though.
Yeah, gonna be able to get out. But now, like I said, there's nothing to camp, which means if you try and go get a reset, they're just gonna follow you. So okay, they do finish. Wait. That's not the gen I was expecting to get done. Okay, so they actually do finish the 4th generator here. They've still got a couple stages left they can give before the game's over. Okay, we're back. Bang actually, oh my god, it's holding W through it, but that is still going to result in a down. But it is farther away from that other 3-gen moment. They will go down under this pallet. Is there going to be a survivor? No, they can't be. They would be heard. I imagine. Nope. Oh my word.
Oh, they're doubling this gen.
This is a pain res, though. I'm about to say, that's the last pain res. This gen probably has taken a couple of hits. They do have lockers nearby, so it's not nearly as brutal. And now, yeah, you can actually harass this unhook. Survivors are not out of it yet. You can harass this unhook pretty incessantly. Okay, what am I watching?
They are actually, once again, expecting a reset, but the survivors are not resetting. They're actually doing the gen, so...
Okay, but they actually do sniff out the killer instinct from the Dire Crows, and Nancy will be in chase. That means that probably Claudette is going to be able to rotate around for that unhook, and this is where you need to be taking the gen. This is the absolute furthest possible spot that you can go. Lyon's going to get them distance once again like they did in the early game, and not only distance, but bamboozling both the killer and myself in the meantime. They have a pallet here, but not going to be able to get to it in time. Are the servers going to go for the reset here? No, they're gonna be doubling the gen, but this is the problem. I think this is finally too many stages, and at the end of the day, this will be enough to get victory for the killer. Really close though. I loved how aggressively they were playing.
Yeah, they're trying to somehow get one of those gens finished.
Yeah, just kind of hard to do at this point. I love the slingshots this killer keeps setting up. It seems so crazy. Getting a hit over the top. Thought for sure that would have missed, but at this point, yeah, Fangman is here, and that is going to be the end of the line for this set. And Vicinal will be walking away with a win in this first one, but we will be moving on to set number 2. And actually, they're still playing it out. They're not giving up just yet, but I think the zone is going to be a little bit too much to get an unhook without any kind of trade. They actually run straight by the survivor, not going for the unhook. They know it's too risky. Pro coming up, waiting for Fang to cross the line of sight, taking the gamble, and actually, Fang went all the way behind the comment. They are so sneaky for being so loud.
Yeah. Well played by Fang.
Mm-hmm. This could be a head-on play, isn't it?
Head-on, yeah.
What? Okay, I guess.
Oh. Bro. I mean.
Oh, they cheated it, but that does reset the cooldown on head on. Okay, you know what? I liked what they were going for there.
Cheeky, cheeky.
Very much so, but that will be the 4K1 confirmed for Artist. Really, really well played, and they will just go ahead and for the hook. It is 20 seconds for them to die. Art is very happy with this rule. They played it really well, honestly. I was very impressed.
Yeah, they did. I think they also understood their gen setup. I think it might have been, they might have looked at the gen setup, and that's the only reason why they didn't go for the Fang inside the TR. Because it was actually pretty smart to go back into the corrupted setup. If you look at the gen setup they had available on that side,
yeah,
was very, very good for them.
You know, I guess it might have been telling. They brought Inkdead. Inkdead is just screams that they are macro-oriented, and they played macro the entire game. They played really, really precise macro, and like you said, we didn't notice it at first. It was like, why are you leaving this really, really good chase outside your corrupt? But it's because, like you said, the corrupt is just a phenomenal zone to hold down. It's a dead zone, and they did just that. They executed well, and that will be the W for Vicinal in set 1. But we're moving on to set number 2 very shortly. It's going to be a good old Huntress on the Coal Tower. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 3, and a beautiful corrupt on the opposite side of the map. Huntress already taking a wind up, looking for a shot. No rose roots, so they just want to lob a hatchet over to the other side and see if they can get a pot shot. You know, I'm here for it. I want to see it.
That's amazing confidence. You'll love to see it.
Definitely some aggression, and I do think it does kind of make sense. I believe this was actually Vicinal's pick for this spot, so having a Huntress main that's very confident, trying to thread the needle, but not able to quite make it. Fang getting a little bit of distance. We dropping the pallet and moving on to the next tile. They actually hit that!
Wrong shot.
Okay, taking some other cuts at Claudette, expecting her to go to main, holding her out. Yeah, the survivors are like, okay, this killer actually hits it. Dodging that was almost a hit. Okay. You know, I love this. I absolutely love this level of specialty design. Oh, and she's zoned. She knows it. And yeah, she knows she can't cut across that tree because of the slot. And they do go down in the corner. Huntress looking for a very special hook. And this is a great spot for a hook, too.
Yeah, this is like the perfect spot to have a hook as a Huntress early game.
Indeed.
And down at 5 gens, that is trouble. Ideally, from the survival side, you kind of want to run the main and delay the first down.
Right, and that was a pain res to boot, so this gen that's being worked on had a little bit of progress progressed. They are just taking shots. Yeah, and this one is the most progress. Getting Pop Goes the Weasel on it. Yeah, this is a strong and very aggressive start. I like it when teams, instead of taking the methodical approach, just come out swinging and, you know, they got rewarded for it.
Yeah. Interesting choice of Parks. No
Oh,
chase
yeah, she sneaks
Parks.
behind.
Oh.
Bold play.
Wow.
That's going to be a free unhook on the Survivor. Huntress, I don't think, saw them coming back there. And honestly, they don't seem too phased. They're just winding up a hatch. It's like, yeah, come back. Okay. Okay, if that had actually hit, that was going straight to YouTube.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think it is either, but...
Oh, they actually managed to get out. So usually as a Huntress, most Huntress players play very defensive. And if you get an early hook, you really, really want to keep that. But looks like our Huntress player has other plans.
Absolutely. Interesting. I think the Huntress will understand what happened here, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. They were thinking about it, and that is going to be a head-on, but now the Huntress knows. Dropping this pallet preemptively, honestly, smartest move you can make. You don't not want to be there when the Huntress is there. Be leaving around the side, but I think this is going to be a down unless they are managing to dodge it. They are unafraid of the firecracker, just taking the shot. Second hook incoming. First generator down. We see a second one. Actually, two different generators underway, and even saying, Ace, get off that gen.
Oh, this is so bad because now the hook is right on top of that generator. There's so high progress.
Pop goes the Weasel as well. Second gen did go down, but third one has been maintained. Some of these shots that they are taking, like, props to Survivors for ducking and understanding, like, you know, how to duck and weave, but she's giving haircuts for free here.
Yeah. Amazing confidence.
Oh my goodness.
And that one actually lands.
Well played to Vamp here. I believe this is Vamp.
Yeah.
Oh my word. More people coming in onto Fang Min, though.
That is actually for the people in the Huntress's face, and it worked out.
It did. A very aggressive play. I mean, you have to play aggressively when they're doing this, and getting a tag across the wire spool.
Oh.
This is some phenomenal hits. Yeah. Oh, good use of quick and quiet. Able to get through that window without letting the Huntress know and giving him a little bit of distance. But now you're running around main. To be fair, has there been a gen over here that's been done? I don't know if they've broken the gen setup over here.
No bamboozle. This is why this is a very odd choice bug-wise. Usually, almost everyone would have bamboozle. Oh, okay.
Okay, very caught out there, but they do finish the third gen as the death comes in. Do we see any other gen progress? They're actually upstairs on the coal tower as we speak, while the reset comes in onto Ace, as Claudette is still broken in the meantime. Their broken status just came away, though, so they're going to be able to get healed and reset. This server's going to have to get out of dodge. We're going to see a Poly Pop goes the Weasel onto that generator up top. Yeah, that's what we saw from the top there, and they're breaking the door. What is this killer up to?
It will be so hard to play around this main building, though, without bamboozle as a 110 killer.
That's a very good point. Dropping this pallet preemptively, and yeah, they're going to have to break a lot of resources here to get back into the game. Actually, Nancy right there. Yeah, I was saying, with this Huntress's lethality, going to take a tag, zoning them into this tile, not letting them get to the rock over. And yeah, going to force the break on this pallet, but okay. Cheeky mind game. Does it pay off? No, Nancy knows about it, but holding right instead of going back into the main. Good read and good decision from the Nancy, going to pay off. Trying to thread the needle on the window, but not going to be able to get the shot off. And does Huntress commit to this chase, or do they go and try and find some others? I think you've got to go and try and find other survivors. Looks like Claudette's the only one on the generator at the moment. Okay.
Another. Oh yeah, this player is already dropped. Claudette gaining in chase.
Claudette kind of stuck behind this rock.
Yeah, she's already getting zoned.
Ooh, narrow miss. Oh, good read. And actually, Huntress out of hatchets now is going to have to reload. Take the M1, but that means Nancy's able to work on top gen for free. We see Ace also with a good bit of progress, 75%. Survivors, despite having a Huntress that is out for bloodshed, have a good amount of gen pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, they are going for that shot. That's why they opened up the top. Okay, this has to be a Huntress main. There's absolutely no way they're not a Huntress main.
Yeah. You can definitely tell. The confidence is amazing to see.
Absolutely.
But are you actually going to surprise someone with that? That's the question.
I don't know. Nancy, you surprised? They know. Nancy's like, actually get a tag onto Ace in the meantime, though. Nancy will pop their gen. I didn't think they were even lining up for Ace. I thought they were lining up for Nancy up top. What's Claudette's progress? Oh, this looks Claudette and Ace are going to go away and try to find a reset point. But Huntress actually aware, taking some. Okay, these are just straight up prediction shots, right?
I think she saw someone cross, but she's not sure where exactly.
There was someone over in this area. She was just lining up a shot and I guess predicting. Like, now they caught Ace. Oh, this is a dangerous tile to be caught at for Ace. They're worried that this is a bait. Taking a quick shot, but then running over to this generator, check it out, and they are correct. There is a survivor ratting out over here. And Nancy, oh, this could be a hit. Holding patiently at the Z tile. It will get the very slim edge of Nancy through the window. And this needs to be a pain res, I think, because, yeah, Claudette's a good percent of the way on a generator. And it is, what, that's opposite side, right? No, that's right next to the... Oh, never mind. That is not where I thought it was.
Wow.
Using this hook instead. And it is going to be a pain res. I appreciate that. Last hatchet, chuck it. There's no way it's...
Yeah.
I mean, it can't hit someone if you don't launch it, so...
True. So both of the survivors are injured. Now they're in a very dangerous position. If one of them goes down, there's a high chance that this entire game is gonna snowball.
And they know where one is. They know where Claudette's over here at the very least. Don't know exactly where Ace is, to my knowledge. If Ace is able to sneak around, maybe. No, they keep lining up the shot at Claudette. If they had Rose Root right here, this would actually be a very scary play. They do know where Ace is.
Yeah.
Actually gonna let them get the unhook and move on to this Ace instead. I don't disagree with this. Get some fresh stages. Oh, Ace barely dodging that one, and the 360 of all time.
Spinning the killer.
However, that will be a down. And if there's a pain res nearby, I must say they're not doubling this gen. They're going to be rotating Nancy around possibly to get in a better position, split the radius of the map. And it's going to be another pain res. Eventually, this gen in the back will run out of regression events, but doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. I
The
love
thing
the
is,
shots.
this map does not offer that much safety anymore.
True. You've got some rocks here and there, and you know the trees for line of sight. But honestly, with the hatches this Huntress is throwing, I would be kind of scared to walk out into the middle of nowhere. And Nancy will be rotating around for the unhook. Last second pop goes the Weasel coming in for extra regression. Claudette will be slowly making their way away. I say this Huntress seems to have a really keen idea of just how to thread these shots through these trees.
Yeah.
Oh, and they do find Claudette over here. What am I watching? Are they just saying, come over here and chase me? They're really just out here saying, come over here, chase me, bro. Nancy wants more, and Huntress is like, I am so sick of you.
I mean, I don't understand why she's not playing the Palador. That's kind of interesting.
I don't know either. Are they assuming you can get over here and double up on it? Like, I'm not really sure either.
Where's the Ace? Were they like healing there? I don't understand.
They're hanging out over here? I guess being ready for the unhook? I'm really not sure what the thought process is here. That's one of those things where it's like, I might have to ask them after the game. So what was the move here? I do appreciate these shots. The limbs obviously are going to get in the way a bit. Unhook coming in. Trying to line up a shot across the map, but just narrowly missing through the trees there. But it was here. This will be another pop goes weasel. I guess in all fairness, it's the furthest distance away from the generator, so that no matter what, you're gonna have to walk all the way across the map. Probably gives them a chance to reset. But it was able to stealth out here. Eventually, you're gonna run out of gen regression events. I guess it was like, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to take a guess. Are they resetting? Looks like they are resetting. This is an odd game. This is not at all what I was expecting. They find the reset point after the reset has occurred. Both survivors still in the area. Looks like one might have actually held W to the other side along the side of the map. Yeah, they did get out. Actually, both of them managed to. However, Ace will take a tag. This could be a potential W tap. No, they're going to hang tight. Almost. Ooh. Oh my goodness, I never thought about that. Yeah, just winding up and pointing in the direction. They're like, watch out, the cloud, they're aiming at you. You just give them a skill check.
And now they're stuck on the T-wall.
Yep. Nasty shot through the window, going in for the reload. And now Survivor's gonna have to find a different gen to jump up on, as this is going to be a hook right next to this generator. Looks like Ace has actually already found one across the middle. And Nancy gonna be rotating around for the unhook. This game was so fast right off the bat, and now it is slowed to a very grindy crawl. Looking around for Ace, but not seeing anything so far. Nancy's gonna be coming in for the unhook. We do see scratch marks where Ace is.
Oh, imagine the lens.
I'm gonna say, like, the shots and the ambitiousness that the Huntress has here is great. And to be fair, they actually have landed some of these aggressive shots, and I am here for them. Taking some huge downrange shots towards the gen. Not quite able to line up anything they feel comfortable with throwing it though, and Survivors, to their credit, are definitely spreading out and trying to play this to the point where they want stages out, because obviously on a Huntress, I would say Huntress overall, oh, I don't know about you, I don't think Huntress should probably get more than a 3K on average.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you get like 6-7 stages, then you're really good already.
Yeah. And I guess that's what they're thinking, is that they don't want to get 4K.
This map is really hard for Huntress because the main building is so strong and you're only 110. Like, I mean, I find it quite fascinating because this Huntress didn't even bring Bamboozle, and she didn't seem to struggle at all with the main building, so all the power to her. Yeah.
I guess when you have literal missiles you're launching across the map and actually are clapping survivors, maybe, I don't know, but survivors, yeah, they are taking chase the main building, and she doesn't seem to be committing to those chases at main building as much. However, Ace is in a bit of trouble here. That is definitely a hit. You see the top of the head, and gonna be leaving them slugged, going right back to the gen. Are they doubling up? They are doubling up. They know that they can get this gen done in time, most likely, but that's the thing. Is there adrenaline on either one of these survivors? There is. Not even gonna need it.
Oh, this is hope though.
True, it is. And now they're out of hatchets. And there is an exit gate on the side, so if you leave them to get the exit gate done, you can go get the hook, but I don't know, this is gonna be tough. They are already at 7 stages for fresh, so they've got a decent result already. Nasty shot over onto Nancy. They get the pickup. Almost. Oh my goodness, they got the pickup, and it almost resulted in another one getting downed. But now they're, like you said, they're both at main building. There's no bamboozle. Taking a shot, and looks like Claudia is able to get the exit gate open. And trying to take some cross shots. Oh. I feel the frustration there. Okay, we're cooking. No, couldn't make it.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine?
Dude, the confidence is insane.
It really is. And now, if they were counting hatchets, they know that they are out. We even see Claudette coming in for the potential body block. And Ace is going to get zoned back into the map.
Wait, what? No,
but they actually stuck around.
There's one by block, right?
If Claudette's over here. Yeah, this one's closed. I say, gonna get a reload here. They're resetting the Nancy's, telling Ace, hey, just last a little bit longer. Wait, actually, Ace made a break for it while that reload was coming in. Trying to shave off some, oh my goodness. Body block's coming in.
Distance.
Oh my goodness. There's the tag. But it has the body block here. And she does.
Oh my god. Amazing play.
Crazy. They almost had two separate shots where they just barely launched it over the top and almost landed it, but all right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 4. It's either the halfway point or the end of the line for Hysteric. They need to get 8 stages here. Or, you know, okay, 7 stages, 4 fresh to tie, but I think given the circumstances, you definitely want to try and win this, and so they've got a tall ask, and honestly, we're kind of seeing what I think you said you expected. This is a bit more of a standard build, especially for the main building. Already finding Renato, though. Oh. Are both of these Huntress enjoyers?
True. You're chasing the Huntress player, so they're probably gonna know what's up.
Oh, they definitely know what's up. Holding W to complete other tile. We see 2 survivors in the area now, though. And yeah, I think you're right. I think they're swapping off onto Ada's. They're like, yeah, this survivor kind of knows. Oh, they took the shot, though, because now you get behind this block. It's a little bit difficult. No Ruin in play either.
Wait, what? I was about to say, why are we not sticking on that Ada? But going back for it, this is only a 4 lane.
True, true. Dropping the pallet immediately. Holding this, and that will be a down. Or not a down, a hit. Ada getting some distance into the middle. Checking real quick to see if they have Rose Root. That might have made the difference. And lobbing one over the top, but not quite able to get... Oh, that was close. Ada actually must have crouched before running into that vault, waiting for the throw.
Damn, they actually don't have very strong tiles on this map. That's 2 4 lanes and this.
Oh, were there actually 2 4 lanes over there? I didn't realize there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Huntress bamboozling this one.
They are playing it very well, though.
True. Hugging the tile as tightly as possible, not giving any quarter. There's the vault, though. They will go down, but first gen has already popped. Corrupt Intervention has also dispelled now as the first down comes in. And they're already doubling up on the second generator. But the Pain Res actually is going to come in last possible second. Does the Huntress know, and do they come in and interrupt this? Oh, they don't.
No, they do not. The thing is, they don't have gens around this hook at all.
They absolutely don't.
The survivors did 2 very, very good gens. And yeah, the Huntress needs to... Honestly, I don't think they can camp this. They need to look to get it down on this side of the map by the main building.
I would tend to agree. Trying to see if anybody's going to come across, but honestly, if you're a survivor side too, you don't even have to go in for that unhook. You could just stick gens, and right, the ball's in the Huntress's court. They've got to make something happen here. And they're looking around, seeing if somebody's rotating in, but Renato's not in that area rotating in. And we see 2 gens being worked on in the meantime. I think if you camp this the second stage, I think you're right. I think it's a little too late.
Yeah. The first one was also not the fastest.
True.
I mean, at this point, you kind of have to camp this, though.
I guess so. Renato's still sneaking in, but it's not going to be before second stage is secured. I think even if you had Sprint Burst, you wouldn't make time. Waiting for a call out for them to go to unhook, and second stage is secured. Ooh. Ace, I'm going to take a tag. Going to go into the TNL wall. You're right, these aren't strong tiles. Good attempt and good patience on the Ace's part reading that. And bamboozle it through the top though, and this is probably going to be a down right here. And in a much better spot like you were talking about for this killer. You see, however, that Ada gets reset. And we see that Sable's generator, unless it's a Pain Res, is going to likely pop. But this is on the other side of the coal tower. If they have a hook in the back, it's not a Pain Res. And I think she finishes this. Yeah.
Well, that is bad news. At this point, the Huntress needs to play extremely aggressive. We need a lot of stages to meet the win con, so I'll ask.
Absolutely. And we're still in a 4v1. They got the second stage secure, but they didn't get the tunnel. We see scratch marks going back into this unhook. Looks like Renato gonna be the designated unhooked target, just barely missing the hatchet. Yeah, it looks like they were taking a shot at Renato, gonna be zoning them out. They also need their fresh hooks, so I guess if you can get your fresh hooks, get your pain res, try and make something happen, but Firecracker coming in, they're gonna get unhook or unload.
It's like, in theory, one thing how we could draw this is by hooking Renato and then getting Sable on the hook. So
True, force the tie.
yeah. Ooh, lucky break, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think you are correct. It was lucky break. It still breaks my brain every time I see it. I know it's legal, but it still breaks my brain every time I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually just they just held that W key. And Ada potentially gonna take a tag here. No, just barely whiffing into the box. However, this is the most progressed generator at the moment. They do, oh my goodness, nasty flick tag going into the corner, throwing some follow-up hatches, but I think if Renato comes in, they could possibly get that gen done. Yeah, I think we even see that Renato's gonna be rotating in for. Oh, they might have flown too close to the sun, but this tree's in the perfect spot. No way they hit that.
That's a crazy shot. This is actually.
But they already finished the 4th gen. There's a gen right there. Like, the gens are super split. So you get this hook here. It's a 2nd stage onto Ada. No, that's death hook onto Ada.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Death hook onto Ada.
Hold on, they're cooking.
We still need more here.
Right, Renato is representing a pain res as well, so not just that dry kick, they will be able to get a pain res.
Really? In time?
I don't think anyone rotated over. No way they did rotate over. Oh my goodness. And it is gonna be a pain res. That's a good idea, actually. They don't know that they were there. They didn't hear a scream, so they could just stealth and wait for the Huntress to commit to somebody else.
I mean, if the Huntress gets Sable on the hook and camps the Sable, they would win though. So
true. No, they don't get it. Taking another shot onto Ace. Ace is gonna be running for their life. Ducking and weaving. Baiting this shot, and they do. Ace running around this rock. There's still plenty of time to. I don't know. Like you said, Huntress needed to go for the Sable there. This could be a double tap though. What happened to that Hunch? Where did it go?
Well, I don't know how where the Huntress is, but yeah, absolutely. The Sable is the #1 target here. If we get the Sable on the hook, then that's it.
They are in the Sable zone, and it looks like they do actually. I think you're. Yeah. They're onto it, and they will be chasing Sable now. So. Yeah, actually, at this point, Survivors actually might have to consider taking protection hits or trying to get the Sable out. Because, yeah, if Huntress hooks, especially in the basement, you can't get her out. So, I don't know. They started. Looks like the Survivors are actually resetting right now instead of going on a gen. Here's Bamboozle coming in. But they are going to be looping it into the tile over. And they'll be taking the chase completely away from this area. That is the smart move.
Wrong dodge.
Absolutely. Reset complete. And they're going to need a potential body block here as... Actually...
Oh my god.
Actually, they might still be caught out here, though. Yeah.
Oh. The Huntress faking the break of the pallet. Very nice late game.
Absolutely. And that is going to be... Yeah, they want this hook on this other side of the map that's easier to guard. No, they're kind of selecting their spot here. Maybe it's away from the exit gates? And like you said, this is winning for them if they're able to hold this to death.
Yeah.
Are we going to be looking... Despite the phenomenal performance from before, are we possibly looking at set 3 tiebreaks? I think we might.
Yeah, looks like it.
That is crazy. All right, looks like there is the second wind, as obviously Deliverance not allowed against Huntress. I'm surprised the Huntress let that happen.
Yeah, to be honest, because now we're back at square zero, more or less. And Huntress is so good at defending a hook. If she's in front of a hook, you are not unhooking that.
True.
Quick tag coming in.
I guess to be fair, though, now everyone's free game. If you hook any one of these other survivors and kill them, you are in a spot, so...
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, the fresh hook is what was needed, and now getting on to chase with Ace, going down in the corner, means Renato's gonna be working on the gen in the back this whole time. They will probably end up finishing it. I don't think Killer has one more pain res, but I actually have no idea who it's on. Looks like it was on Ace. What serendipity for the Huntress. Last pain res coming in onto that gen, giving it a little bit more time. But again, this is the tie condition. The survivors now have to get everyone out of this match without giving another hook stage, and that's going to be a tall ask at this point. Yeah, Renato's going to be forced off of his generator. Unhook coming in onto Ace. And yeah, at this point, this chase ends up in a hook. That is going to be set 3.
Strong hatchet once again. Honestly, impressive performances by both Huntresses.
It really was. The thing is, it's crazy. It feels like 2 different play styles, and they both feel equally enjoyable and powerful. It's just in this scenario, Huntress coming out on top. Kind of wild that Vicinal won Hysteric set, and Hysteric might be winning a Vicinal set. And that will be the down. That'll be second stage coming on to Renato. Survivors doubling out the last gen, as they so should. We are looking at stages out here potentially, but not without the win con being achieved by the Huntress. So well played.
Was that adrenaline on Renato?
No, it was not. Looks like actually adrenaline might have been on the dead survivor Ada. Looks like they are possibly rotating around for an unhook if it is allowed, but I think Huntress is very happy to take a 9 stage into the end game here.
Impressive performance all around. Ooh.
Trying for some shots. One of these days we'll see an orbital. Okay, probably not, but I can dream, okay? Yeah, and these stars will be taking their outs. Really, really well played. And 9 stage, 4 fresh, 4 Hysteric's killer. And we are going to be going to the tiebreaker set, folks. So we'll be back in just a moment. It's going to be... I will never get... All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 5. It was, in fact, the halfway point before. And we are going to be seeing Boofy on the Dark Lord. Already cracking out the back form, going into their crop, looking for any signs of grass, any movement, any scratch marks, anything to tell them of survivors there. Already seeing some scratch marks, seeing them appear, and they already have a chase.
That is very early, yeah.
Interesting that they go immediately into Wolf.
Wow, that's insane to greet that against Wolf form.
True. Very, very true, and good heads-up play. But I almost immediately turn into Dracula every time, so they know what tiles are good and what are not. That makes so much sense, though, because the Hellfire can go through this tile, right?
Yeah, they can. Wow, actually, interesting choice to go for bad form here.
Here comes the bluff. Is someone in position? Okay, there's no way this survivor is not seen.
Oh.
No.
I mean, they're so far away. This might work, honestly.
Oh, looking for scent orbs. That's so smart. Actually,
they seem to be a Michaela.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. No
They're
shot.
actually gonna get away with that. And
What?
it's Ali. No.
Oh no. Captured live in 4K, and that's gonna be a pretty uncontested hook for all things considered. They waste a little bit of time, but this is gonna be a Pop Goes the Weasel on the main gen, applying Eruption as well. Then immediately going around looking for any survivor that might have left there. They weren't able to, that's the thing, they weren't able to complete the central gen, which is what you always have to do on Wrecker's Yard. Always want the central gen done. We always see it doubled up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is quite a nasty position. So 2 gens being worked on, relatively close to the hook. The Survivors have a tall ass. They need to not give free hits here and somehow get those 2 gens done.
Wait. Okay, so they actually have 2 separate gens at about 60-70%, and then Renato going and working on their own. As Ace is going to get pushed away. I wouldn't be surprised if they give up the second stage just to work on the gens, but no, it looks like Michaela's actually be rotating in for this unhook potentially. And it's going to get pushed away by Dracula once again, so they will be forced back to their generator. Oh. But the killer is harassing quite extensively. The second stage is all but secured at this point.
But he needs to get something done, right? Like, right now, I mean, I guess he just won second stage, that's fair.
But you're losing central gen. I feel like I would have... I don't know, maybe they saw Michaela and they were thinking that maybe they really just don't have the ability to, but yeah, now you got to come over here and harass this survivor. Renato has to either stick their gen, rotate around to work on this one, or go for the unhook. Oh, unfortunate. I think they were trying to slide across the stairs, but not quite able to. Going right back to the unhook. For the people coming in, though, from A's, and that's going to give just enough time that I imagine Eruption's not going to be able to proc on Michaela's generator. Yep, they do finish Michaela's generator. Adam giving it. Oh my goodness, there's 3 gens down. Survivors ain't giving up this easily. Oh my word.
True. Oh, yeah, Adam needs to stay alive. If he gets hit here, that would be really bad.
Great dodge, dodging the Hellfire. They will take a tag though, going into center. I mean, you got the pallet still up, but it looks like they're gonna go back for him, try and make a play out of it. Oh, trying to go for it, but not gonna quite block them off, and Pat will be able to get away. I'm sorry, Adam will be able to get away a little bit longer. Yep, going out under the pallet. Now the question is, do you just go for the pick, or do you suspect like last time that there's someone in the wing? Ah, there was.
Oh, we see the scratch marks coming up, so I think he's gonna know where to look for them.
Yeah, and Renato's gonna take a tag. I understand wanting to keep the server live a bit longer, but I feel like this is not a good tag to give.
Yeah, this is okay. Wow.
Dodge coming in, and we see a survivor rotating in to get the pickup here. Halo, though, not going to go straight for the pickup. I say your scratch marks are very apparent. Dodging the Hellfire, 4th generator going down. We actually see a 5th generator halfway through, and I think survivors might just be like, yep, all right, you did good, Adam, but you're going to go die. We're going to get this 5th gen done. And honestly, I thought this was a good early find from the killer, good early hook, but now survivors are, they don't make this quite as clear and cut. This feels a lot closer than I would have thought it'd be.
True. The thing is there are 2 injured survivors here, so if he can find them and not let them reset and instantly keep on the pressure, then I think he's still in a good spot.
Oh, they actually found both of the survivors that are injured. They were looking to get a reset. Now they're in trouble. No, expecting a flare and not going to happen. Vaulting the long one instead, going for Renato. This still could spell disaster, but the survivors are splitting up wisely. Oh, they had a 99 sprint burst.
Yep.
Very well played. This time, Renato not going to be greeting like Adam was. Be dropping that pallet, and oh my goodness, they're actually leaving all together. And Ace getting the call out, will be well aware.
Oh, what are we on?
I think this is Ace. No, it's yeah, it's Ace. Great dropping this pallet. Good idea. Oh, great slide off the back of that. Interruption could be proccing. Michaela immediately back on the gen to keep progress going. Is it going to be a pain res, though?
This is where Dracula really starts shining, where you have the mobility really matters. There are only 2 survivors that can possibly go for this rescue, and if you occupy one, this can go south very quickly for them.
True, and like you said, like you can go harass the survivor, and then at any point swap bat form, immediately teleport back to Shaq, and you're just you can literally. It's crazy how like ever since the twins came out, we have more killers that feel like they're in 2 places at once.
Yeah.
Which again, very difficult to play from a macro level. It's not easy to pilot a killer like Dracula at a high level, but when it is done, they actually they snuck in for the unhook, and it was after the teleport, so teleport from bat is on cooldown. They have to wait, and they actually, killer can't punish this like they were hoping for.
Wow, that was an incredible unhook, yeah.
It was. And they even sent the injured survivor in. And Ace will get second wind heal. However, this does look like it's going to be hit for Renato, but no, Ace coming in for the hit tank. However, trying to line up a Hellfire. They actually get the shot!
Oh, wow.
phenomenal. And they get a tag onto Ace in the meantime. Going for the break. However, we do see that gen that G-Bot's working on is 75%. Going back into bat form, pre-dropping everything, just wanting to waste as much time as possible. Good read from the survivor. Even though it's oh, they get caught out though. 2 stars on the ground. You're not gonna be able to finish that gen.
Oh, they're trying so hard.
They are.
It's gen kick limit. They cannot kick the gen anymore.
Really?
I think so, yeah. They would have definitely tried if it was possible.
Oh, that's crazy that the gen got hit that much with pain, with eruption and pop, but yeah, we're down to the last chase. There is no unbreakable, y'all. Delayed stun. Wait, if they had smash hit, they could totally get back to that gen, but no, they are gonna get zoned out here. That will be down.
I do wonder if Michaela would have finished it. I don't think she quite understood that we can't kick anymore. That was really, really close.
It really was, but regardless, really well played. Bit of a swingy game. Killer had a great first chase, found an early one, got an early down, and despite that, Survivors had incredible gen pressure and were bringing it back. And towards this end game, they look to be in a good spot, but even with all the comebacks, it is going to end up being 4K1 in favor of Hysteric's Killer. And now it's going to be all down to Vicinal's Killer. To be fair, there is an off chance that GreeZero could bleed out. They're 75% of the way on the bleed out, but I don't foresee them bleed. I imagine this Killer can probably find them. Yeah, you're right. That gen is fully blocked. Wild.
Very, very strong place. The Survivors tried to play a lot with team play. They even missed the pallet save. And they still almost got all the gens done.
Absolutely. They did a really, really good job. And it comes down to those small micro decisions at the end now. Wolf Farm hunting down the edge of this map, trying to look for their fresh survivor. And I actually forget, have they hooked 3 already? If they have, then it wouldn't matter if they bleed.
I think they did, yeah. The Ace got second wind, if I'm not mistaken.
You are absolutely correct. You know, it holds true. You are not old. You are hip and young. You've got the great memory. I would not have remembered.
True. Oh, looks like
the Crows.
The Crows.
They are well aware, and it looks like they are just happy to have this game end quicker. Yep. Thinking about the Mori, but they're just gonna take their hooks and move on to the next game. And honestly, if Hysteric ends up making a bit of a comeback here, it's gonna be impressive. You don't see it too often where a team loses the first set and then comes back in the final too. It's not super common. So yeah, it is completely blocked. Wow. Well played. But with that said, folks, we'll be coming back for our final trial of today. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure having y'all here today. All right. Yes, you will have your vengeance. We are back with one final trial of the day. It is the Return of the Dark Lord. This time with vengeance, apparently. Already, once again, finding a fairly just... Okay, they just don't want this survivor. Interesting.
Yeah, actually interesting. Doesn't go for that. With the bat form, you can spawn trap the survivors incredibly well, yeah? And that's an early fast chase on the Fang.
This is out of range, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, getting the stun. They're just gonna leave chase altogether. Finding at least one survivor here at Jack. Looks like they find Ace once again. Lining up the Hellfire, getting the tag. Good little flick at the end there. And then you're gonna change the wolf form here. Can they get a slide around? Okay, interesting. Not all what I was expecting. They just go for the break. Be forcing this survivor back into the tile. Not dropping the pallet.
That is so greedy.
Incredibly so. I was gonna say, I don't know if this works because you can definitely see Dracula's head over the top of this tile.
Yeah. I wish they would play Wolf here, to be honest, because Wolf is harder to see and faster. So you can get so many free hits on Wolf just by being so small.
Exactly. That's what we saw earlier, as the previous Dracula was doing that. They were using that Wolf form to deny. And honestly, these Hellfires are kind of slapping. First gen
Yeah,
goes
no.
down. It looks like they did actually double up center, and we actually see even a second generator underway. Fogwise value coming in as that is great skill check gave him some information. Nope. No pain resonance either. Immediately coming over here, and it looks like they already sussed out a survivor at the shack. Taking a Hellfire shot. I thought that was gonna hit. Okay. Our previous killer was a bit of a dog lord, and this killer's got some great Hellfire shots, so two different spectrums of the same killer. Great bound though from the Hound.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. I'm not coming through.
Actually get that tag on. What are these Hellfire shots?
They're not gonna make that.
No, they're not. Oh, they actually do.
Oh.
I'm actually curious if Ace's BT timer would have actually been up if they take the hit.
Yeah, I think they would have gone down. I'm pretty sure.
There's the pallet. Hellfire coming in though. Okay, is this killer missed? I think they've missed one Hellfire shot this whole game.
Oh, he's definitely him with the Hellfire, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure, like you said. Third generator going down. It's the second stage already for the killer. And that looks like it was a pain res. Now taking chase with Feng Min on the side tile here. They have quick and quiet? Did they vault that? They hold W? They hold W.
Ooh, damn. Impressive
more
plays. Actually, Dracula's wasting no time at all here.
Sure, that gen's being regressed this whole time, so not too bad. Immediately leaving the chase. There's the 4 of the people, though, before they get back and contest this. They do find Ace immediately. That's going to be a tag through the window because the mid vault. It's like 4 of the people did nothing. Was they lining up if they wanted to teleport, but they're just going to be content to take this. Oh, this is a 50-50. Nope, not with Hellfire. Just a down.
Wow.
Strong Dracula play. And that is, looks like actually, Boofy not wasting any time. Over 75% on this generator. The other 2 survivors having to leave their own gen, as that is, again, the hook placement macro understanding is really good. They constantly hook right next to gens that are being worked on and are able to apply a lot of regression and pressure to them. They've really, it's hard to say how many seconds they've wasted off the survivor's time just by their hook position.
Ooh.
Well, they actually commit to that. Now they're all injured.
Yeah, 2 gens left. This is looking like a very good gen setup on top of that.
True. Is this a bounce landing? It isn't. It barely gets them out of the way of that swing. Actually, once again, holding W into the back of this map, and Dracula, I think that's a smart move, leaving rightly so. Gonna go back to this generator. Looks like survivors might actually be resetting. We see Nancy get a reset, and Claudette just now without broken, but they're actually gonna find the reset point. Waiting for the shot. Lining it up, and Claudette holds W towards Shack. Wolf form going to be coming out now. Pushing back to the Hellfire mode, but they're going to be leaving as I think that was alive.
Oh.
Good chase from Claudette, wasting the killer's time and getting these survivors back into a spot.
True. That was vital for the survivors. They have to break this 4 gen.
Bugman once again going back to where we saw Ace die. Not the spot you want to go down in. I'm surprised they go to this area because again, the killer just walks over. Oh, I got a hook right next to this generator. And it's gonna be a pain res.
How heavy Greasero is on the Hellfire. Not a lot of wolf plays coming out.
True. They've had one good wolf hit, but the rest have been, like you said, a lot of just really powerful Hellfire shots. And I think the survivors have no gen pressure to speak of now. We've got 2 gens remaining. They need to finish at least 1 to get the tie condition, and which will end up in a full tie. At this point, if they get all the kills now, that is going to be a proper win for Vicinal. But if it's a tie condition, it's full tie. Everything's on the line. They actually get the down on Nancy.
What?
Oh no.
She's sticking out the walk. Very strong.
Going for some resets. But I say I don't think you need pain resonance here. They are getting some pain res hits, but they're not in a bad spot at all. Looking for the reset. Do they find it? They do. If they saw that a second earlier, they might have been able to get the Hellfire shot, but the Survivors do finish the heal and the reset in time. Coletta is splitting up from Fengmin, and it's going to be getting across the map. Wolfform not connecting. That means Fengmin is able to rotate it back around to the other side, possibly getting a hook, but yeah, Killer knows that is going to be blocking them off. So now the Survivors are kind of getting juggled.
Yeah, this is where Dracula is so strong as a killer with his mobility and anti-loop. You kind of ran out of pallets, and even if you have a little bit of pallets left, you might even get hit on them. Or not.
Good fake. Strong greed from the Survivor, but that will be hit over the top of the button. Wait, what?
What? Oh my god.
I don't know how that didn't connect. Okay. Ooh, actually missing on the wolf form, and Fengmin looks like they're actually very happy to take this chase. They keep waiting for the killer to catch up, trying to make sure they stay in chase. Survivors did get a reset in the meantime. They are in a situation though where they go down back here. They're in a dead zone and they are next to some gens, which is not where you want to be. Zoning coming in, and that will be able to be an M1. Now the question is, can you die opposite map? Yeah, we see the Survivors working on a generator together. Obviously, they need to get that one more done just to get the tie condition and not lose this this game. Fengmin's gonna do her best and waste as much time as possible. Wait, do they get the balance line off of this?
No,
but say it doesn't work. They actually missed though.
Oh my god. Feng is doing such an amazing job keeping the team in the game.
And now Survivor's gonna be leaving that gen and gonna be splitting up. Nancy showing themselves here. Probably strategically, yep, that is gonna be the sprint burst. Vaulting through the bus. I say this is not the most safe place to chase. We'll be at M1 through the window, and I imagine they'll be running back into the, going right back to where Fengmin was chasing. Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong. You can get balance landing off that garbage truck, but it's off the staircase, not the window, right?
I don't think that works either anymore.
Really? They patched that out?
I think if you play on like 15 FPS, you can actually get balance landing off. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Wait, they get the full reset off. Just in time. So I say, yeah, let me quickly swap to my 15 FPS macro and then swap back. Yeah, no, not a viable tech. Also, imagine playing skill checks at 15 FPS. Ugh. Regardless, looks like they did find Fengmin once again. However, this time able to dodge the Hellfire, get a distance away. And I think if I've seen the Survivor, I think they just held W here. No, they actually came back. Interesting. Mixing it up a little.
Place.
Ooh, but they're running back into the side.
Yep, exactly. They're getting zoned into the gens. This is not good for them.
Okay, this is the single Survivor that is living rent-free in the Dark Lord's head.
Yeah, actually though. In case anyone else.
I think the killer absolutely agrees with you. Is going to be coming over here, applying eruption to this generator. Survivors, to their credit, have really shown some resilience here in this mid to late game and are not giving up for free. And to be fair, the killer's only at 5 stages so far, but obviously at 3v1 everything's a bit different. Looking for Centaurs now. Not seeing anything, just teleporting back to this generator. They do see scratch marks. Fengmin once again. This Survivor can't live forever, right? Yeah, good read, and that's gonna be a down onto Feng. What's the gen progress though? They are doubling this gen. And I don't know if this is a pain res or not. It's not.
I mean, they would still need to complete another one after this.
True, but like they're just fighting for the tie scenario.
True.
Like just to get a tie. I do think that Vicinal has the better record here, and so they obviously do want to outright win this game. They get a tag, and actually not hitting the unhook unhooker, but they do hit the unhooked Survivor. So Fengmin actually in a bit of trouble here, as they need a body block, but not a kill you can body block very well. Get stuck at this bus, and I say you've got to run to the next tile over. They're not going to chase. They do recognize this chase would be possibly too long. Then seeing Nancy, but yeah, you have to check this gen. There's the vault coming in. Oh, they had the lineup right, but the wall did block it. Now Hellfire's on cooldown. Acting the vault, but not going to end up happening. They have to be careful. Are they resetting right now? Yeah, Claudette is, or was, working on that generator. And nobody was resetting Fung. So I guess now Nancy's probably will rotate over for the reset. Yeah, we see that reset coming out from Nancy onto Fung Min. And now Claudette has to make this chase work.
Yep.
Oh, great read.
Oh, that does not hit.
Now we see that the gen is 75%. This needs to be a quick hit, but not going to let it happen as Lythan choosing the wrong direction. Let's saying, come at me, bro. And they're going to commit to it, breaking the pallet. Now, even if they do go back, they're going to finish the generator. So the tie condition is all but confirmed now.
Wow. What a crazy comeback by this was.
Absolutely. Hysteric does finish the 4th gen. And now it's unfortunate for Vicinal because you weren't playing for the win. Now you're playing to not lose.
Yeah. Actually, the other 2 survivors are full house, so... But they have an insane gen setup.
They do, and they recognize that I think Nancy has got about 50% gen progress. It's unfortunate we keep seeing them getting stuck here because obviously you want to get out of this area, but there's no filler tiles available. They've dropped all the resources between here and there, and there's just no way to get out of dodge.
True.
Nancy doing the best they can. They will take a tag for their efforts. Claudette hanging out in the vicinity. A lot of gen progress to be speaking of. However, we do see someone over here. Looks like they found Claudette after all. However, we do see that Nancy is over 50% on their generator. They do have the 4 lane. Dropping the pallet preemptively. And I think you break this resource and leave. Yep. They're doubling it. Actually, do they finish this?
Oh, yeah.
They went to the wrong one.
On the wrong gen. Yeah, on the wrong gen.
Oh, wow. No.
Honestly, I would have never thought this of us would finish the gens in this game.
Same. I am incredibly impressed. That is some resilient play from these players. Fung Min will take a tag over the pallet, but they are more than happy. The survivors have come to do what they needed to. They have completed 5 gens, and Vicinal played incredibly well. A phenomenal last match of the round, but Hysteric, against all odds, 0-1 for the first set, but coming back and winning the next 2 in, honestly, phenomenal fashion. Both these teams played their hearts out.
True.
And they'll be taking their outs as I think they are fatigued from this game. They're every ounce of sweat and blood has been poured into this, and the Dark Lord will have a bit of blood for himself.
Destiny calls.
Wonderful flavor. And with that said, folks, that'll be all we have for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Congratulations to Hysteric and GGWP to Vicinal.